Bitcoin above $80,000, Ethereum back over 3K, Solana is flying over 200 bucks, BNB also performing very, very well. All these tokens are doing amazing just because of Bitcoin and the huge movement that it has been doing throughout the weekend and since Trump won the election. So let's talk about that and also about the options that we're going to sell today. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be covering everything that is happening to Bitcoin. That was a $70,000 when Trump won the election, or close to 70K, and now it is $12,000 above that price. In just a matter of a few days, not even a full week yet, we've seen Bitcoin rally a huge percentage. That confirms our theory that Q4 after the halving is usually very, very green and very good for Bitcoin as a whole. And also because it is election year, it tends to be very much volatile. So you must remember that I do have some leaps. I actually have 4 leaps, 2 for December and 2 for September next year, and both of them on Ethereum and Bitcoin. And things are looking rather good for all of them. Just the Ethereum one for December that does not look good. But again, that one I told you pretty much on all the videos where we cover the leaps that has a huge possibility of me just losing money, but the others should make up by a lot for the losses with their profits. So we're going to be talking about that in today's video as well. But let's start with the copy trading. The copy trading hit huge milestones today. First of all, the Phoenix strategy made over 1% in November. We're not even at the first half of the month. So the Phoenix one is doing very, very well. We are at 36.6 right now, total P&L for the strategy, and the zero DTE is shining a lot. We can see that it went from 58.10, this is accumulated returns for the whole strategy since it started, to 61.6. So huge returns. The month of November is not even halfway there, and we are at 5.16 total. So if you had deposited with us since the beginning of the strategy, which has 6 to 7 months more or less, you would have already made 61% returns. Imagine that. This is the power of options trading, and here you don't need to know them. You don't need to know options. You don't need to know how to trade options, because we have trained traders that do that for you for a success fee of 30. So if there is no profit, there is no money for us, which I believe makes total sense and is very worth it for both parties. You make money and we collect some of the profits. So that makes a huge impact. We have over 600 people right now and almost 700K right here. So we're looking for that sweet spot of $1 million here, which is fantastic. So if you scroll down, you can see my positions here. I started with 500 bucks on this account in June 11th, and since then I've made 42% on that money. The P&L that you see right here, this is already liquid, so the fees from that number. So when you close a position, you won't lose any of this capital right here. So the 49 is already at 58, so almost 20% on this one as well, and those started in September, so way later than the June position. Now looking at our options, Bitcoin is at 82,229, Ethereum is at 3,200, and if we look down right here, these are the options that I was talking about, and take a look at these two at the top and the one at the bottom. This one right here, I will lose money most likely, but again, if Ethereum rallies above 4K right here, this one I should most likely just lose half of it because of the value that I lost with data, with time erosion. But if Ethereum by December goes above or close to 4K, this one shouldn't be 94%, maybe a 70, maybe a 50% loss, which for me is all good, because I really don't know why I opened this one right here. This number was just too far-fetched for everyone, so I consider this a loss already, but everything that I make out of it is profits for me. This one is even, so 0.3 in the negative. If you remember, this one was 70% in the red, this one was 30 in the red, and this one was like 35% in the red, and now this one is profitable by 30%, which is 600 bucks in my pocket if I were to close this position, which I will not, because Bitcoin is soaring. Bitcoin is going so fast right now that I don't think I'm gonna stop holding it until maybe March, April, May of next year. If Bitcoin touches 100K, this one is going to be like 300-400%, maybe 500% in the profit, which is fantastic. This one right here is minus 20%, but again, it is a 65,000 call, so It is very deep in the money, and we are seeing these numbers go up already. Remember, this one was 70%, and I told you that the spread was horrible. It had no place of being so much in the red, and we're seeing these numbers fluctuate towards my at least even goal, which I believe I will take at least 20-30% here profits in this option right here. So that being said, let's look at the heat map for Bitcoin. You can see that for the week, we have a little bit of bids here looking for the $75,000. Again, I don't believe we're going to see $75,000 once again. I don't think we'll see it, but positions are there. If we go to the 24 hours, that is a different stories. We are seeing huge movements, huge positions back at the 82,755. So there's a lot of triggers there waiting to be taken by long positions and liquidating a lot of short positions. Now, at the fear and greed index, we're almost at the extreme greed right now. We're at 79 fear and greed. Bitcoin in the past 7 days has gone up 20%, Solana 32%, Ethereum 30%, Dogecoin almost 87%. So everything is doing fantastic. I wanted to show you this article right here, since we talked about liquidations being at $75,000, that right now it is such a faraway number for us, but just a week ago 75,358 was an all-time high that it hit right after the rally that came up after Donald Trump's victory on November 5th. So we can see how a number that was so far-fetched for us just at the beginning of August and then all throughout October, that number was almost impossible for us. And now we're looking at Bitcoin price can rally up to $110,000 per Bitcoin. And also analysts are mentioning that we have a cup and handle pattern forming for Bitcoin in the long-term charts, and that has a success rate of 95%, and the overall average profit is around 54% on that pattern. So we should see green wins all around for Bitcoin throughout Christmas, all the way to Q1. And then on Q1, it should start to lose some momentum, still in the green, still bullish, but lose some momentum after Q1, because that's when Ethereum is most likely gonna shine. So that being said, let's get back to trading. Even though we are overbought in the RSI, we're closing every green candle outside of the Bollingers. I'm not gonna go against the flow. Bitcoin has so much strength that I'm not going to be the one going against it so far. So I'd rather sell a very conservative put and not make as much money as I would, but I'm not going to go near selling calls this week. So take that for what it's worth. For the next months, we're not going to be looking at calls anywhere. As I mentioned in the last video, when I did take profits for the call on Bitcoin, I opened a leveraged long position on Bitcoin. And that one made me 30% at one leg plus 25% on another leg. And now I'm holding another position and I'm just gonna let it ride as high as it can. I'm most likely, unless funding fees gets extremely high, I'm not gonna close that one anytime soon. So here we're gonna be looking for puts for November 15th, and we're gonna go looking at the heat map. I'm gonna look between 75 to 78 $1,000 to see which one has the better ROI risk reward for me. So you're gonna see that sped up, but I'll be back in a second. So we're back here. Let me show you what I opened. So I sold 2 puts for November 15th. For Bitcoin, I sold a $76,000 put, and for Ethereum, the 2,850. The Ethereum one was almost 2% returns, which for me, they're fantastic. As I said before, because we're overbought when we look at the RSI and we look at the Bollinger, what I would personally do is to look to sell calls. But because Bitcoin and Ethereum have been coming since the Trump election with a lot of force, a lot of volume, a lot of inflow, I'm not going to be the one going against it. I'm just not that stupid. I don't want to take any risks. So what I did is go a little further away than the 2.5, maybe 3% that I would like for a weekly, but at least we're going to be making around 20 bucks in this week, which is more than fine if we remember that we had almost 600 bucks right here in the leaps already. So that being said, I'm happy with the options that I opened. By Wednesday, you should see if they are in the green or not. And by Friday, I'll let you know how they ended up, if money went in my pocket or it left my pocket. So thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys on Wednesday for another update. And if you want to check out the topics, it's going to be the first link in the description. Thank you. See you Wednesday. Peace.